Let's have some more fun with BuzzStream. So far, we've been going through a lot of different link building tools and how to use them to find potential prospects. BuzzStream is defined not really so much link prospects, but content prospects. But there is a way to find link prospects too. And this is probably the coolest feature of BuzzStream. So it's like something that when I first ran across it, I couldn't believe it. So I'm going to show you, let me show it to you. Well, first of all, let me say you could add sites there if you have a list of sites and you want to import them into BuzzStream. That's where you would do it. But right now we don't have those. They're not called enough. So what we're going to do is head over to Google. Let me get this so you can see it. And one of your best friends as a link builder, you have lots of best friends, but one of them are lists. You want to find lists of people who are compiling the best blogs. And in this case, I'm looking for small business loans or people that have write content for small business owners. I'm looking for those blogs. So here I just Googled small business finance blogs. Now, one way to do is to go through these lists. Like these curators put these lists together. They have valid links on them. It's just links that you could trust. And it just makes your time a lot easier as a link builder to work off somebody else's work, right? They put the time in culling these lists and getting these great opportunities for you to figure out, what instead of figuring out what these blogs are and whether or not they're any good, you can just go off of what they say, and that's what we're going to do. Like, look at right there. There's a list there of 100 blogs. So there's all kinds of blog lists on here. So if I go to I can go to any of these. Oh, and I've been to here and I checked it out. And here we'll see something. They have 5 great blog. I think there's more than 5. So this site took the time to create a list of all the different blogs that they think that small business owners would like. That has to do with, let me close that. That has to do with finance. And so what I'm going to do, I have a couple of options. I could go to each one of these sites and check them out and then manually call them to see whether or not they're going to be a good fit for my client down the road. And that's not so hard to do, and that's what most link builders do. But here's a cool feature. I'm going to, well, you're not going to be able to see that. Let me move it up a little bit. Link building takes so much longer trying to get these frames right. All right, 1 second. Okay, I guess I gotta just click. Yeah, I'll just click up here. All right, I'm click BuzzStream Buzz Marker. Now I'm gonna click Create a Prospecting List, and this is the cool thing about BuzzStream. And well, you can't see it. What happened on the right-hand side? You'll see it in a minute. It pulled up all the sites that are listed on this page into a handy dandy little list right there. And if you see that button here on the bottom, and I'm going to have to fix it so you can see it, start prospecting. And so now I can check these sites out. Instead of going to them one at a time, I can just put them all into this pile, so to speak, and then hit start prospecting, and I'll show you what to do after that. And one thing you could always do too is you could scroll through here looking for sites that are like, sometimes you'll see LinkedIn and Pinterest on here a lot of times, and that's just because that link is also on the page. It's pulling every link that it's on the page to these other blogs, but it's also pulling out the social media accounts that are also listed on the page for the person who wrote the article. So it's like, you could take those off. I just skip them when I get to them. All right, then I hit start prospecting. Now I'm going to check each one of these sites out to see if it's something that I think is going to be a good fit for my small business loans client. And this one, the SBA, oh, I would love to get a link from the SBA. The problem, though, is that that's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of effort. And now I'm noticing a mistake I made, and I'll show you in a minute what it is. But see how it took us to a blog page rather than to the blog index. So what's happening is where I got the list from, they're showing links to probably their favorite blog posts, and then that brings us to individual posts. Now, why is that a headache? Well, because if I'm going to reach out to these blogs, I have to know that they're active. If they're not active, I'm going to waste my time. And one of the biggest time sinks and SEO and link building is going through going through prospects that you're never going to be able to get a link from, and you waste how much time on prospects that you're never going to get a link from. And as you stay in the business longer, you just learn how to stay away from those types of opportunities. How much effort am I going to have to put in to get a link? But anyway, how much time am I going to save? I have to go look and see if this blog is updated. I know the SBA updates their blog, but if a list is taking me to a blog page and it's all from a different year, like maybe a couple years ago, now I'm going to have to go and find out another page on that blog to see if the blog is current. So that's one of the problems with pulling links from list pages. If it's all listed, if the links are all going to the index, then it's one less headache for you to have to deal with. Like, look at this article. It's 2015. Yeah. And so instead of just putting links over to the index of these blogs, they put to posts. So now I'm going to look around. I have to make sure that this site is current. Cabbage. Well, I want to tell you about Cabbage right now. Cabbage is a competitor of my client. And that's something too that'll pull up in a lot of lists. Some of your best competitors may really be into putting content on their site, and they may be excellent at content marketing, and they may have all types of topics on their blog related to your industry. If that's the case, they're going to show up in a lot of blog lists, and that's something that you're going to get used to seeing. You could blacklist that, so you could filter out your competitors, make a list of your competitors, and then scrub your list that way. That works. All right, now Mason Myers. See, this article is from April 20th, 2015. Now, am I going to put this person on the list, or am I going to go check to see whether or not it's current? Of course, I have to see if it's current. If it's not current, that's not current. It's almost a year since he's been on his site. So, am I going to pursue that person? No, I'm not. And so I'm going to go to the next person. Link building is sexy work, isn't it? All right, look at this loan. I'm not even. That's a competitor. You have to deal with competitors who are content marketers showing up into your list. I call them our nets. And they show up in our nets and they waste our time, but it's really not their fault. We're the one throwing nets, right? All right, that's another competitor. Wow. American Express. There we go. Might be great to get a link. Now, is Mike still writing? Is my target here going to be Mike, or is it going to be American Express? I don't know yet. But I'm going to add them to my list. See how easy I did that? Now you look over there and it says it's added to my small business loans list. Now I just saved that prospect to check out later. Now I'm going to go down and hit the arrow over, and I'm going to pull up the next prospect. And I'm going to go through the entire list this way until I've culled it. This is just a hand cull where is this going to be something that might work for me, or for sure not? And if it's for sure not, you just delete it and go on to the next one. And if it might, you save it. You're going to put it in your potential placement list. All right, quick and dirty tips. This looks like a good site. Let's count how long I've stayed on this site. Because look, they haven't updated it since February 2016. And that's the problem by when you're doing lists, coming in by the post rather than the index. I would have known that right away if I would have came in on their index or category index. But so now, yeah, so no good. Next. I think this is some kind of credit reporting. $2015, just one extra step. Let's see if there's anything new. I remember those pop-ups first came out. Well, we thought, webmasters, we thought we were such hot stuff because they worked so great. They still do. All right, so let's check to see how old these articles are. That's all I'm doing here. So much of link building is spent on this kind of stuff. Yeah, see now look. How to improve. Yeah, she was going straight. They were linking straight over to their favorite posts. I'm just going to get out of here. Let's go to a different one. Yeah, favorite blog post, not favorite blogs. So that was my fault. I pulled up a favorite blog post instead of the blogs. I guess I could have, if I was doing it by hand, it would have been fine. Okay, you could go check Forbes out. Obviously, Forbes is pretty easy to get links from these days. I wouldn't do much research in getting Forbes links. You don't need any tools. You just need to find a contributor who's willing to give you a link in an article for some money. That's how you get on Forbes. But so don't spend a lot of time on Forbes. But it looks like it was. You might be able to. Now the cool thing is, now this writer may be on several other platforms and several other sites. So maybe you find them on Forbes, but they're also rating for like 8 other sites. So that's a good find too. But what I want to do is just go to this site right here. It's 100 blogs every small business owner should follow. So 100, and so these are pretty good blogs because they're not really finance, but they're blogs that small business owners are going to read. So if that's where my end users are, and that seems to be the case, let's create a prospecting list with BuzzMarker again. And all I did was right click there, and you have to have BuzzMarker installed. That comes for free when you sign up for BuzzStream. All right, there's cabbage again. Well, we recognize cabbage. Cabbage has some cabbage because they're everywhere. All right, now LinkedIn. Yeah, sometimes the social media, like I said, because this page was on Cabbage, it also BuzzStream also grabbed their Instagram link, their LinkedIn link, and maybe some pieces they had on Entrepreneur, and so that's part of the ball game. I'm not going to worry about trying to get a link from Harvard Business Review, and you can't see it on the screen, but I'm going to click the next. And this is the completely unsexy way to cull a list using, look at this. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and add this one to check out later. Passes my sniff test. And all I'm doing is sniffing. Is this edible? Is this edible? Oh, no, that's not edible. Is this edible? Is this edible? And then we're going to go through in the other modules, and as we go through each type of link placement and opportunity, then I'm going to show you how to go to your opportunities and find the good ones. All right, so go through, and you could find a list and use List Prospector. You could do this all day long, and it's kind of rewarding. Instead of watching a movie, do this type of work, because if you do it, you'll have all the prospects you need to reach out to. But one of the biggest problems with link building, and I say that a lot too, one of the biggest problems with link building is having your time stolen from you from activities that isn't going to lead to you getting any type of traffic or link. And that happens a lot in this industry. And because your time gets wasted on a bunch of sites and a bunch of things that aren't going to do you any good, and you run out of time, and then sometimes you lose courage too, because you're doing stuff that isn't accomplishing anything, so it's hard to get momentum, and it takes a lot of courage to keep working at something when you don't have momentum. All right, now look at all these blogs that I found. Now this is where you can see the link prospector work. Look at them all. There's 100 of them. Now all I have to do, and it goes straight to the index too, so to me this is a good list. I could stay in this list for a long time. How many links are on this page? There's 100 of them, right? How many of them can I score links from? How many of them are catered towards small business owners? They look to be all catered towards small business owners. So as a list builder, I should be spending a lot of time on these blogs and figuring out what I have to do to get it. But cull the list. You cull the list using... well, you can do it by hand, or you can use BuzzStream Prospector. And that's all I have to say about using BuzzStream. prospector and the prospector list rather, and also prospecting list, and I went over discovery. But feel free to rock out BuzzStream. It'll save you a lot of time, and I am going to see you next video.